Your life's work is just to hook up. Your life's work is to explore and launch rockets of desire, whether you know you are or not, and then chill and then experience, and then launch more rockets and then chill and then experience. And that doesn't sometimes feel like hard enough work to be really meaningful, but it's so meaningful.
Everybody seems to be talking about manifestation. I don't feel I'm doing that. And I just feel I just go general all the time. And I go so general, I might as well be lying on my back. That's how general I go. And I just feel that it's a nice thing to be. But then I'd like the big mansion because I want to show off to my mates. But the being general is really pleasant.
So how do you know when to be general and when to be specific? Or is there ever a reason to be specific?
I went through massive contrast a couple of years ago. And
before you go further, we want to interrupt because we really don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Here's the misconception in what you just said. This is why what you just said is not true. Can't stay general. Next. You can't stay general because when you're general, there's less resistance. And when there's less resistance, then you are being called as a cooperative component to the things that you've been asking for. So general will lead to faster and faster and faster and faster momentum. So general will lead to specifics. But if you say, I just stay general, then what's really happening is you're thinking a little of what you want, a little of what you don't want, a little of what you want, a little of what you don't want, a little of what you want, a little of what you don't want. So it's like you never get going very fast because you keep braking. You keep putting your hands on the brakes. Let's say that you're focused upon something and it's not going the way you want it to, and you're pretty detailed about it because you're attracting specific details. Well, if you can back away from it and think about what you want and why you want it rather than the specifics of how and where and when and who, then in that more general attitude, what happens is you release resistance, and as you release resistance, now you're going more with the flow of what you want. You're receiving more impulses from your inner being. Things are working out for you. You're getting this impulse and this impulse, and the specifics must follow. You just can't be getting these ideas and following these impulses without it beginning to take shape. And as it takes more shape in terms of vibration, you begin to catch glimpses of it. You begin to feel more exhilaration about it. The momentum of it becomes more and more obvious to you. So a lot of people say that they stay in this place of a sort of slowness or generalness, but it is not because they are without resistance. That always indicates resistance is in there. We've not said this before, and this is why you're sitting right here, because this is what's active in your vibration. This is what you're calling forth. In the same way that water runs downhill, and that if you step off the stage, it's going to be quick to the floor because of the consistency of that law. So there is this gravity that is pulling things toward what? Toward center of earth, toward the center. So you came from non-physical and you launched rockets and you projected them to the vortex, and they were received and gathered by the law of attraction. And why are they gathered by the law of attraction to the center of your vortex? Because that's where your focused inner being is. Hear this. That's where the whole of you, the larger part of you, is focused and calling them to the center of who you are. And in the same way, as sure as you're not going to fall up, you're going to go to the center. This vortex that is you is calling all of the cooperative components that you've asked for, including you, there. We want you to feel the inevitability of it. We want you to feel the certainty of it, the inevitability of it. It is as certain as falling down when you step off the stage or when you jump out of an airplane. It is that certain. It's that certain. There are not exceptions to that. Do you accept that there are not exceptions to that? There are not exceptions to that. There are not exceptions to that. Well, the bird or the airplane can offer some resistance. In other words, you can manipulate within it. We're not saying that there are not things that you do by using gravity in the way that you do. We're just asking you to accept that it is something that is certain. And with the same certainty, you are being called to the center of who you are. And in the moment that you stop doing any of those things that are keeping you from going easily, you go easily. It's so interesting to speak with so many of you who seem to think that getting what you want is the hard thing. And we say, that's the easiest thing in the world. That's as easy as falling down instead of up. Getting what you want is as easy as falling down rather than up. It's a law. It's a law. You're supposed to get what you want. You're supposed to return. You're supposed to be gathered. You're supposed to come together with who you are and all that you have become. Does that make some sense to you? But humans think that that's weird, and that this other stuff that is painful and annoying and disturbing and lackful and depriving and sacrificial, you think that's normal, and that deliberate creation is weird. Well, it's not. It's the other way around. It's time for you to start going with the flow, don't you think? Yeah. Really good. You didn't like that as much as we did, but it's because we are so certain of the inevitability of you getting what you want. And we are ever reaching for things that help you feel some of that certainty yourself. Because in the presence of certainty and in the absence of disbelief, then, here it all comes to you.